Hey guys, I just saw some absolutely atrocious commentary, a video that was made for nothing but clicks and comments and likes and views, so he can collect a paycheck, and it has nothing to do with the current state of affairs with respect to cryptocurrency. I don't know which microphone I'm using here. Sorry, just fell on me. Okay, so we're gonna, without further ado, we'll jump right into it. There we go. Without further ado, here we go. I've had to do many takes so far. This is getting very frustrating. I have to leave to the airport tomorrow in like 20 hours, so I'm trying to get this done first because I believe it needs to be told. Because this other crap's been floating around for 8 months. It's just false.
What you're looking at, depending on who you ask, is either a revolution for the internet and countless industries as we know it,
Like, in all seriousness, I compare it to the internet.
or the greatest Ponzi scheme in human history.
Well, yeah, everything on this planet is either good or bad.
The whole thing is
That's just life.
a promise that you can get rich for free.
And that's false. No one's ever offered it for free. You have to pay to buy the coin to begin with.
Accused of being all of these things is the world of cryptocurrencies.
Heck, every religious leader has been accused of being a bad person. I mean, everything good gets accused of being bad. That doesn't make any sense to point that out.
Or the other labels associated with it. NFTs, blockchains, Web 3.0, from the business.
Okay, he says associated with it. They're about as associated as two criminals sharing a same jail cell. They're associated, but they have nothing to do with each other.
Bizarre onslaught of celebrity promotions and endorsements.
I got an 8 too.
Part of the same community. We both
Cringe. Total cringe.
To the eye-watering numbers and headlines.
Digital art.
Yeah, he has to go straight to the highest selling Nifty ever because he knows he's going to lose his viewers right now if he doesn't within the first 30 seconds.
Artist Beeple, the final bid, $69 million.
Oh my God.
To the grandiose claims about its potential.
It's the biggest technology that's ever.
And he has to cite Gary Vee, a known grifter, that ripped up his neighbor's flowers, knocked on the door, and sold it back to him.
Happened in the history of life.
I once described the world of cryptocurrencies as a story, and I did that in hopeful, optimistic tones. And now I don't think it's the story that I initially thought it was.
They only make money because some other sucker lost more.
How is that any different from the stock market or gold or silver or anything else? You buy a car and you sell it for more than you paid for it. Well, someone else you made money. Someone else paid extra for it. That's a car. Has nothing to do with crypto. So I don't know what these idiots' points are because they don't have one.
Have fun staying poor.
It amazes me that anybody is buying into this.
They are decentralized Ponzi schemes.
They jump right to Bernie Madoff and throw him behind jail cell. And there are some bad actors out there that have created altcoins. And just ignore them. If you want to make a movie about or a YouTube video about altcoins, go for it. But don't be a stupid freaking idiot and lump all of crypto into that crap. Give me a freaking break. You're stupid. Either you're really stupid, like really, really stupid, incredibly, mind-blowingly dumb, or you're in it for the clicks, the comments, the views, the likes, and the paycheck from YouTube. Pretty obvious what you're in it for.
The only thing that you have to show is Ponzi schemes. It's all bullshit.
You know what's BS is the showing Satoshi Nakamoto as if he is a black hat hacker. He's some dark, shadowy figure. Damn you for that. And he'll do it multiple times throughout and just pisses me off. The dude was a genius. You should respect him. He could be dead.
For me and many others, it began here. What you're looking
For me, it ended there, bro. I've got so much more experience than you. This is like nothing, like the icing on the cake.
at is
Ridiculous.
a piece of
Oh, but listen to me. I'm somehow some sort of an expert with my 1.73 million subscribers. I don't care about the clout. I'm preaching the truth, and I'm doing it for free.
Artwork by a digital artist called Michael Joseph Winkelmann,
You throw
otherwise
his middle
known as
name in there
Beeple.
for
On
like
February the
make it sound
25th of
more credible. Give me a break.
2021, this artwork was put on auction.
Sorry.
Bidding started at $100. It eventually sold for $69.3 million,
What's your point?
making it one of the biggest sales in digital art history.
That's where I do feel super lucky.
What happened afterwards? Where do I begin?
A digital
You
artwork
already
by
have
a
me
relatively
done, dude.
unknown American artist.
Gosh.
For nearly $70 million.
20 minutes
More
in.
than most
Where do I
Picassos,
begin?
Monets, or Warhols.
That it doesn't exist in physical form. It is only available digitally.
Again,
The
if you
first
want to do
NFT ever sold.
if you want to do a video about this dumb crap, go right ahead and do it. Freaking do it, but don't associate everything. That's like saying there's the worst school in the whole world. Everyone that went there is a loser and an idiot. No, maybe certain departments. Get a clue, bro. Just get a freaking clue, Mr. James Janney.
I know what you're talking about.
It was like suddenly the term NFT was just everywhere. Jack Dorsey, co-founder of Twitter, sells a picture of his first ever tweet as an NFT.
Jack Dorsey auctioning his first tweet as digital art.
$2.9 million. Even popular
Okay, if someone's willing to pay it, then I guess that's what the market supports.
internet memes were selling as this NFT thing. Nyan Cat,
It sounds like Mr. James Janney is the one that bought the NFT from Jack Dorsey, because he sounds pretty pissed off about it.
590.
And of course, that's going to lose money because it's, in my personal opinion, pretty worthless.
$1,000. Charlie Bit My Finger, $760,999. Disaster Girl, $500,000. Doge, $4 million. Overly Attached Girlfriend, $411,000. Bad Luck Brian, $36,000. Scumbag Steve, $57,000. You had singer-songwriter Grimes selling $6 million worth of digital art as NFTs.
When she was married to Elon or his girlfriend or whatever.
People were changing their profile pictures on social media to NFTs that they had purchased. It was like flexing an expensive car or a watch. And then suddenly all these big celebrities and artists and influencers were also replacing their profile pictures with NFTs and announcing their own purchases of NFTs.
What the hell is your point? Get to it.
And the apes were part of this bigger project of NFTs.
In my opinion, apes were just stupid. Always have been, always will be.
Called Bored Ape Yacht Club. I mean, you had Snoop Dogg, Eminem, DJ Khaled, Lil Baby, Post Malone, Stephen Curry, Gwyneth Paltrow, to name a few, all of them.
Just because they're famous doesn't make them smart or good investors.
Purchasing these pictures of apes for sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars. And amongst this sea of high ticket sales, you would hear that this is all part of something revolutionary.
It's the biggest technology that's ever happened
Again, he's citing Gary Vee. What is wrong with you, James
in
Janney?
the history of life, outside of things like fire.
Regardless of how much you knew.
Yeah, he's got his own marketplace selling garbage NFTs. Surprise, surprise.
About NFTs,
He was a grifter
there was
before
one
that.
message that was really clear. Behind every story, every headline, there was an underlying premise. Something is happening. And
oh, something's happening.
there is a lot of money to be made.
Welcome back to the show, and congrats
There was a lot of money to be made.
on getting married.
Yes,
This is a big deal. Last time you were on the show, I asked you to explain
Reusing already used content. Come on, aren't you better than that,
NFTs.
Mr. Janney?
So,
Wasting
popular
your
talk
viewers'
show
time.
host Jimmy
Wasting your viewers' time. Good job. Congratulations. Excellent documentary.
Fallon does this segment on his show with
Trash. Belongs in the unviewed video section of Netflix.
Paris Hilton, where they
At
show
best.
off their pictures of bored
this
apes.
is your ape. We debuted.
It's really cool. Like the hat, the
Cringe.
shades.
Total
We're
cringe.
part of the same community. We're both apes.
Love it.
Here, my ape. This is my ape.
Yours. Yours is so cool. I love the red heart sunglasses. I love the captain hat.
It reminded me of me a little bit. Dude, look at us.
They look like they could be friends.
They're buddies.
This was the point in which I started to wonder, okay, what is actually happening? And I think a lot of people started to as well. You start to realize
I I'd already spent somewhere between $60,000 and $90,000 in them at that point. I wasn't beginning to wonder anything because I actually knew, dude. But again, this has nothing to do with Bitcoin, and you're hammering Bitcoin at a time when it should be going up and it's going down. So irresponsible. So like borderline criminally negligent to make such a doofus commentary documentary.
Realize that the purchase of Beeple's artwork, that wasn't done through $69.3 million in cash. That purchase was made using cryptocurrencies. In fact, all the NFT purchases that we were seeing, they were done through cryptocurrency. The mysterious individual who purchased Beeple's artwork,
That's actually false. I bought all mine with credit card Visa.
Went by the pseudonym Metacoven. Turns out it's this guy called Vignesh Sundaresan who...
Yeah, there's a great big scandal behind that. That purchase, that sale of $69 million, and it's completely irrelevant to everything except for that one sell, and it was actually handled by Christie's auction house. So if as you're trying to say it's not credible, I mean,
who is already a cryptocurrency entrepreneur and had a working relationship with people months prior to the big sale. And whilst there was all this talk about the revolutionary potential behind what we're seeing, there was another side of the story that was being painted by people who are far more skeptical.
Here goes part 2.
And those voices had a clear warning. What you are witnessing is a mania.
I don't know why he wouldn't just show the title of that article. Instead, he zips through most of the title of the article and highlights what he wants you to think and see. There's such manipulation. You don't even get to read it. It's gone so quickly. All I saw was die in a fire. So if we roll it back.
And those voices had
it said something. It says why this computer scientist says all cryptocurrency should die in a fire. It doesn't even say which computer scientist. Did he get his computer science degree off the internet, off an internet mill? Come on. It doesn't even name him. I don't even know the source of the article. I've got multiple grad school degrees, and this is, if you're smart, please don't even remotely begin to believe this crap that he's forcing down people's throats.
a clear warning. What you are witnessing is a mania.
We've got this system that is gleefully and gloriously corrupt.
A mania that is being driven by
some guy with a clown voice that says gleefully corrupt. Oh, we don't even know who that is or exactly what he's talking about. Taken out of context, this crap angers me, to put it nicely.
Greed.
Get rich quick by investing in cryptocurrency.
But I thought it was for free. Make up your mind. Is it free or not? Is it investing or is it free? Dude, you're contradicting yourself.
Delusion.
My ape is
you are delusional.
A reflection of myself.
Or, as other critics put it, it is a giant scam that has some of the largest names, brands, venture capital firms backing it, knowingly or not. NFTs were just a component of a much bigger machine with a lot of moving pieces. And when you put those pieces together, it creates a machine for one of the greatest scams in human history. And it all begins here with a...
It has nothing to do with Bitcoin. This guy's an idiot.
Mysterious invention and a failed revolution.
Failed according to you because you didn't buy when it was cheap enough to afford it? Like I did. I bought my first full Bitcoin for $231 after all fees included. And I kept it.
2008. That's where this really begins.
Apple shares were just getting hammered this morning.
We're down by between 3 and 4.5% generally.
The United
Oh no, stock market crash. This was 2008 before Bitcoin was even invented. It must all be Bitcoin's fault.
States is going through a recession it hasn't seen since the Great Depression.
So why point that out? It's pointless. It's frivolous crap. It's completely irrelevant to Bitcoin.
We're strangled. They're watching their housing prices go lower. They're watching their 401ks get diminished.
You created the mess.
Must be Bitcoin's fault, even though it was never even invented at that point.
We're in, and now you're saying Sorry.
Amongst the backdrop of this all, a mysterious individual is working on their
Again, shame on you for making him so dark and shadowy.
own invention. On the 31st of October, they send an email to a cryptography mailing list. The email begins, "I've been working on a new electronic cash system that's fully peer-to-peer with no trusted third party. It was signed by somebody under the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto. Whoever this Nakamoto person was, they had a vision. The vision was to create a type of currency that existed
The graphics are horrid.
Digitally, that could be controlled by no government or single individual, that could
Oh no, that sounds terrible, terribly cool.
be used to transacting globally no matter where you were or what time it was. The name of this currency and invention? Bitcoin. On January the 3rd, 2009, Nakamoto launched.
Again, he even says January 3rd, 2009. So what does 2008 have to do with anything? You could ignore the past like 3 to 5 minutes of this stupid documentary.
His invention, creating the first ever Bitcoins to exist. It was an attractive pitch, especially to people who held anti-state control sentiments. We're talking about anarchists, techno-anarchists, libertarians, cypherpunks. These were individuals who likely saw the government.
Okay, well, that's not the only people that bought Bitcoin. I don't belong to any of those groups, and I did. So short-sighted this guy is, I swear.
The banks, the entire financial institution as just untrustworthy, that
because it is.
They can't be allowed to control monetary policy. And it was these factions that became the first adopters of Bitcoin, influencing its early culture. The goal was simple: preach the message of Bitcoin to others and increase its adoption. Bitcoin was
It was never a religion, dude.
kind of like a religion of its own, right? Like Satoshi Nakamoto was this Jesus-like figure that would communicate with his disciples on online forums. He would talk of this future vision of the world.
It was never like that. He disappeared before I ever bought one, and that was 14 years ago.
One where the dollar no longer existed and all transactions would be made through Bitcoin, the global currency of the people that was owned by no central entity. To those early adopters of Bitcoin, they really felt like they were on the cusp of something revolutionary.
Because they were? Excuse me, I sneeze. Okay, here we go.
It just so happened that the more people started buying into the message, the higher Bitcoin's value rose, and the more people were willing to put real dollars into buying Bitcoins.
Just as anything else.
Bitcoin is now up to $111.
And again, Bitcoin has nothing to do with Nifties. All the Nifties I've ever bought had everything to do with Ethereum, which is not Bitcoin, but whatever.
Bitcoin started drawing attention from places it probably wasn't expecting or even.
Why would it not expect attention from Silicon Valley? This is the stupidest comment. This is the most uninformed, uneducated, and pure stupid comment I've ever heard with respect to Bitcoin.
Even wanting. The guys in suits, the big money, the people who saw Bitcoin as revolutionary, but perhaps.
Yes, we don't want guys with lots of money to invest in our tech. What?
Perhaps more importantly, as an opportunity. The Winklevoss twins were a perfect example of that. I mean, here you have two twins who have graduated from Harvard. They've won a settlement for $65 million against Mark Zuckerberg for.
It has nothing to do with anything. I mean, they're trust fund babies. So what's your point, dude? Just throwing. He's so ADHD. He needs to.
Stealing their initial idea of Facebook. They found out about Bitcoin on a holiday trip to Ibiza, and they started buying as much as they could. They were stockpiling the currency. It was by around 2013 that they were rumored to own about 1% of all Bitcoin in circulation. That, I think, was a perfect early warning of what was to come.
He just deals with rumors and speculation, and it's just disgusting.
Bitcoin was doomed from the start. That's what a lot of crypto skeptics will tell you, and I understand why. Relying on computer code and.
That's what all the crypto skeptics will tell you. Give me a break, dude. That's what skeptics of anything say about anything. Always.
The ideals of tech anarchists probably isn't the best place to entrust a reimagining of the financial system. Bitcoin had a fixed supply of 21 million coins, which makes it deflationary by nature. So if one.
Is that supposedly a bad thing?
Bitcoin is worth more tomorrow than it is today.
Yay.
Why would you want to use it to transact with?
because I did, and many people like me did, and it's notorious that some guy paid 10,000 bitcoins for 2 pepperoni pizzas. So give me a break, dude.
It's a pretty bad incentive to have if you're trying to make a global currency. But that is already assuming that Bitcoin had the technical capabilities to become this worldwide currency, which it didn't. I mean, Bitcoin had scaling issues thanks to design decisions that Nakamoto themselves had made. It could
It's been updated a million times since then, so what?
only process 7
should we get your baby pictures and say how many flaws you had? Come on.
transactions per second. I mean, compared to other traditional payment networks like Visa, which can process 1,700 transactions per second, or MasterCard, which handles 5,000 transactions per second. And keeping the Bitcoin network running wasted a lot.
Okay, that's just a pointless throw out of numbers. And being a numbers guy myself, I absolutely hate it when people do that. So I'm going to have to clear that. According to this coincodex.com, Solana did 65,000 transactions per second. That was dated March 2nd, 2023. So I don't know why he's suggesting that MasterCard's so great with its 5,000.
Of energy. Bitcoin aimed to be decentralized, meaning no government or single entity had control over it. But in order to do that, Nakamoto employed what is called a proof-of-work consensus model. All this meant was that computers on the Bitcoin network would be forced to use real-world energy in order to solve algorithmic problems. And whichever computer solved the problem first would be rewarded with more Bitcoins. It was a process called mining, and that process is insanely wasteful of energy. And what ends up
so is you making this video. It's insanely wasteful of energy and hot air.
happening? Proof of work incentivized this arms race between computers on the Bitcoin network, all of them looking to build more and more powerful computers to have a better chance of mining Bitcoin. And the more powerful those computers grew, the more real-world energy they ended up taking, despite the fact that the transactions per second remained the same. Most Bitcoin mining done today is done by huge mining farms in warehouses. Bitcoin, for the most part, failed in its objective.
Not necessarily. I know of a cave in Greenland where they do a significant amount of Bitcoin mining, but whatever, it just shows he hasn't done any research on the matter.
Of trying to become a global currency. Outside of illegal use purposes, Bitcoin just wasn't being used to transact with. So the obvious question becomes, how? How is it that despite its failings, Bitcoin still survived and is very much present to this day? But that's just the thing.
Because it's been improved. You could say that about anything or anyone. How is it still around despite all of its failings? I mean, take Elon Musk, for example. He almost didn't make it with SpaceX. So, I mean, it's just ridiculous commentary.
The Bitcoin that we see today is a shell of its former identity.
No, it's not.
Where most of the purchasing of Bitcoin today happens on centralized exchanges that have to comply with the laws of centralized institutions. In the instances where
I've got crypto on a chip, I could take down to my local bullion store and exchange for gold. So there's no actual exchange company, centralized exchange company that would be involved in that. Give me a break.
where you've heard about Bitcoin, or if you've ever been encouraged to buy Bitcoin, under what context is that always framed? By 2014, the
Crappy graphics again. They're defamatory graphics.
mysterious Satoshi Nakamoto effectively vanished from the internet and hasn't been heard from since. What was left of his
Because he probably died.
invention was no longer a currency, it was something entirely different.
Entirely false.
Bernie Madoff. This was
completely irrelevant. I mean, James Janney, you remind me more of Bernie Madoff than Bitcoin does. Like 10 times more, dude.
a guy who was well respected on Wall Street. He ran a brokerage firm with a wealth management branch. He had many clients investing with his firm under the promise of great returns on their money until
the FBI arrested him.
No one's ever promised me anything with respect to Bitcoin. Shame on you for this comparison. It's just idiotic. And that's putting it very nicely, bro.
This morning, after he told senior employees yesterday that his business was a giant Ponzi scheme.
Madoff had been running the largest Ponzi scheme.
Why are you showing this? You're just trying to keep your viewers like on the hook so you get more money from YouTube? This is ridiculous.
In history for the last 17 years and potentially longer,
Oh,
worth
and we're gonna
around
show
64.
violence against an old guy here. Genius. Oh, okay. Scandal, drama, irrelevant. Sorry, Bernie, that he pushed you, but you pushed him first, and this is wholly irrelevant.
$0.8 billion. He would essentially put his
$0.8 billion
investors' money inside a bank account and then simply pay out early investors with the money that new investors were giving. Now, Madoff
That's never happened to me with Bitcoin.
eventually pleaded guilty, and he was in prison up until his death in 2021.
So?
That is the essence of any Ponzi scheme. People invest.
Yeah. Well, you should do research on the guy named Ponzi that the Ponzi scheme was named after, dude. I mean, who doesn't know that? If they don't, they kind of deserve to be taken by one. I hate to say it because I hate scammers, but you're not informing anyone, to my knowledge.
Invest into the scheme under this promise that they're going to make a
tangent time. Let's explain what a Ponzi is to everyone that already knows.
Great amount of returns, and then early investors are paid using the money of new investors. And this process is repeated on and on until eventually you run out of new recruits to keep investing money into the scheme, or eventually people start trying to cash out and it just collapses, which tends to leave early investors with profits and the large majority of others with nothing but losses. People hearing about Bitcoin would hear about two things. One, that it was revolutionary, and two,
it is.
That it was valuable. That if
it is.
You buy now, you could be rich later.
You would be.
If you really want to become wealthy in the future, I would suggest you take $1 frickin' buy some Bitcoin.
Bitcoin, to me, it's not just an investment. It's not just maybe a get-rich-quick scheme, as a lot of people put it, but I see it as the future of currency. I see it as the future of the financial system.
So you realize that most of the people buying Bitcoin, they're not buying it to use as a currency. They're buying it as an investment. And therein lies the contradiction. Because the more people who used Bitcoin like an investment, the less liable Bitcoin became as a currency, the very thing it's being pitched as being revolutionary as. So you know what you end up with, right?
Bitcoin is a get-rich-quick scheme. The promise is...
I don't know who this clown is.
You can get rich for free. Magically.
It was never promised for anyone to get rich for free. That's so ridiculous.
Internet money.
Anyone who buys into the idea of Bitcoin is doing so to sell it for a higher price at a future date. And the people that buy it off those people are also looking to sell it for a higher price at a future date.
Except for the techie guys that like to actually use it. I've used it myself to buy products. You can live like a king in Latin America and countries that accept it as official currency.
The only way to make money from your Bitcoin investment is using the money of new investors.
You hear about people making money in Bitcoin. They only make...
Isn't that the same thing with gold, silver, stock, etc.? Give me a break, dude.
Money because some other sucker lost more.
And
I have no clue who that high-pitched clown is, but whatever. No credibility.
Like Bernie Madoff, right, who gets all the blame and...
Again, completely irrelevant, and here comes the jail cell bars. Give me a break.
The satisfying jail...
With the mugshot and court and FBI, so dramatic.
Time at the end of his story. Here you have an entity that isn't owned by anyone. What some would argue isn't a decentralized currency.
It's totally decentralized, fool.
It's a decentralized Ponzi scheme. Now,
it's not a freaking Ponzi scheme. Your mother was a Ponzi scheme.
Ponzi schemes are kept alive by continuously finding new recruits and new markets to tap into so that money is continuously being poured into the scheme. And so,
if Bitcoin found 0 new investors, it would still be extremely valuable and has significant utility. So go eat an egg.
You start to see this
raw with the shell on.
Similar incentive.
Actually, I prefer to say go eat a cow whole in one gulp live.
Develop in the crypto space. This desperate need to find
Poor scalability. I've already addressed that. That's false. It's not poor scalability anymore. And yes, the supply is at 21 million, and it's quickly approaching that limit. So when it runs out, the current people that hold it should be more valuable. I don't know why you're putting that up there. That you must have paid someone a bunch of money on Fiverr to make that silly graphic. He uses it many times throughout this video, and it's pointless. It's dated.
Find a use case for this stuff, and that use case,
it's not current and currently accurate.
Has to be revolutionary enough to justify its rising value. Bitcoin may have been the first part of this machine, but things were about to get a whole lot more interesting. Bitcoin had something going for it. The blockchain system that kept it running was somewhat unique. Okay, so let's not complicate things, right? You can think of Bitcoin like a digital spreadsheet that records transactions being used in the currency. It's not a physical coin, it's just data on a database. After a certain number of transactions are made, a brand new spreadsheet is created that links to the previous one, and on and on and on it goes. Instead of using real names, users are recognized through what are called wallet addresses, which appear as a random string of numbers and letters. And all of this is kind of kept together using computer code, cryptography, and the network of miners that are running it, which is where the word cryptocurrency.
Is it kind of kept together, or are you just so freaking confused about how it works that you're gonna throw words out that dent your credibility and your confidence levels by saying it's kind of like this is kind of what it's made up of?
Currency comes from. So what was essentially just an immutable append-only database was touted as revolutionary. You know, blockchain was no longer just blockchain, it was blockchain technology. And it wasn't long before people started to see the success and the ideals that Bitcoin was based off and begin creating their own cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, some of them have been scammy. I'm sure you're going to get into that. Altcoins, a lot of them are scammy. You've lost a lot of money on altcoins. Whoop-de-doo, that doesn't make Bitcoin or crypto as a whole a scam, you liar.
Using this blockchain system.
And as you notice here, it says
Vitalik
his title
a
says,
teenager who decided to quit his favorite video game, World of Warcraft, after his Warlock character had a damaged component removed by the game developers. Vitalik says that he cried himself to sleep that night. That was the day that he realized the horrors that centralized services bring. It sounds a bit ridiculous, but Vitalik would end up discovering Bitcoin in 2011 and he would start writing for a Bitcoin magazine. It all appealed to his ideals. In 2015, Vitalik and several other co-founders launched the creation of their own blockchain-based invention. It was called Ethereum. Much like Bitcoin, Ethereum had its own blockchain and it had its own native currency, which was called Ether. There was one important difference though. You see, Ethereum allowed its users to actually program applications on its blockchain. Put it this way, if Bitcoin was like a spreadsheet, then Ethereum was like an Excel spreadsheet that allowed users to create functions to perform various different tasks. It was, you know, a little more advanced. It was a glimpse of hope at finding the revolutionary use cases the cryptocurrency world needed in order to justify the growing value that was being pumped into the system. So,
and Ether and Bitcoin are not the same. So to compare them and claim that Ether is a little bit more advanced is, oh my lord, sorry.
What was the first thing that people started using Ethereum for? Creating more cryptocurrencies.
And today we will be creating our own crypto.
Yeah, well, when you like something, you have babies with it. You can quote me on that.
The currency in under 10 or maybe even under 5 minutes.
Rather than needing to create your own blockchain and network, you could just use Ethereum's blockchain to create your own cryptocurrencies, or crypto assets as people called them. These assets that existed without their own native blockchain were called tokens.
There are now over 1,500 cryptocurrencies.
It became known as the ICO mania.
John Oliver, he's funny a lot of times.
It was supposed to be this new way to fund.
Yeah, there was an ICO mania, and a lot of them are paying the price now.
Your business.
Again, nothing to do with Bitcoin or Satoshi Nakamoto. I'm sorry you've lumped the two together. You deserve all the wrath you get, son.
Could create their own token coins, release what is called a white paper, which explains what the project aimed to do, and then they could sell those tokens to the public, otherwise known as an initial coin offering. ICO. A whole wave of these token coins were being released.
More like hundreds of waves, more like an ocean's worth. Give me a break. It was simple. You had everybody and their dog doing it.
Some of them parodies and others were just blatant scams.
Titscoin,
The Whopper coin,
Trump coin,
Kodak coin,
Insane coin.
But here it is. So I created Dictator coin.
Jesus coin was a token coin that was promising to decentralize Jesus on the blockchain. On its white paper, its creators stated they were in early talks with churches to provide miracles exclusively to Jesus coin owners. Ponzi coin was very much open about the fact that it was a scam. Their website literally said it right there. It's as much
If you're dumb enough to buy that, I hate to say it, but you might need someone to manage your money for you.
as a scam as 99% of the ICOs out there, but it's more transparent about it. Ponzi coin still managed to raise $250,000. It didn't matter if the idea was good enough or not, or if it even solved the problems it was claiming to solve. All that mattered was that people believed in the token enough so that the value would rise and it would pay off the early investors who got in at the start.
There was one that you invested in that saw like 2,000% growth last month.
Yep.
What was it?
That was Dabber coin.
ICOs also marked the beginning of an unlikely friendship between those in the cryptocurrency space and influencers and celebrities. If token
How's that unlikely? I mean, that's kind of where you turn when you want to push a product online.
coins were fueled by hype and attention, then celebrities and influencers were the
They hype Nike shoes and whatnot, dude. It's life. Oh no, crypto is mimicking real life. Oh no, it must be bad. Yo, come on, give me a. I'm being sarcastic in case you missed that.
ones that were running the gas stations. Famous professional boxer Floyd Mayweather, along with producer DJ Khaled, were paid $100,000.
And they both got hammered hard by the SEC, fined big time. They probably almost got jail time as well. Come on, dude, this was a long time ago. This is alt crap anyways. It has nothing to do with it.
$1,000 and $50,000 respectively to promote the token coin Centratech in 2017. Centratech was a project that was promising to deliver financial services to the cryptocurrency world. The coin had raised $32 million. Turns out they lied about their CEO, who wasn't even a real person that existed. They lied about business deals with MasterCard and Visa, and its co-founder, Sam Sharma, was eventually sentenced to 8 years in prison.
Well, good if he committed some crimes, but that has nothing to do with the legit stuff that you're attacking and lumping into this garbage.
Those effectively became a casino to gamble unregistered securities. But you have to remember the hidden incentives. No matter how
Again with this Fiverr graphic.
fraudulent or bizarre everything looks on the outside in the
Shout out to Fiverr, by the way. You can get good stuff for cheap there.
crypto world, you have to keep clutching at potential use cases or anything that will justify its value.
It moved. It was dangling a carrot or something. That's funny.
Value constantly rising to new investors. And whilst the ICO mania of 2017 was continuing,
Yep, 2017.
whole new idea was coming to fruition.
So crypto kitties, I've still got some somewhere. It's on a chip that I can't access.
How many of y'all have heard of this new game that came out recently?
I don't know how do we actually describe what these things are?
And today we're talking about CryptoKitties.
CryptoKitties was probably one of the first NFT projects to make it into the
True. That's fairly accurate. Kudos for getting 1 point, bro, out of like your past 50 points you've already missed. You still have an F minus. They were fun when they first started, and like anything that gets too successful, and is not entirely sustainable, like CryptoKitties, it gets perverted, and I mean that in a non-sexual way.
spotlight.
CryptoKitties.
Crypto corrupted maybe is a better word.
Kitties.
The viral blockchain-based game that sparked a global craze for virtual cats.
It's a picture of a cat. You logged onto the site, you created an account that was connected to your crypto wallet, and you'd play this game in which you would collect, breed, and sell virtual cats for cryptocurrency. The key pitch here though is that every cat is its own unique token that exists on the Ethereum blockchain, making them what you would essentially call non-fungible, or as they're often called now, a non-fungible token, an NFT.
Think of it like a digital Beanie Baby.
Why do you keep saying that? And not only that, but Beanie Babies are weird, and the only difference is you just can't touch the NFT. But you can sell it a lot easier than a Beanie Baby. plus no shipping costs. Well, typically, gas fees tiny compared to actual postage and boxing.
Now, if that sounds a little weird, it's because it is.
CryptoKitties.
And so was his accent. And so, again, that was taken. I don't know who that guy was. It was taken out of context. Why is this dude in a dark room, by the way? That's so shady.
Became like it's
like he knows he's doing something dark and shady, so he's going to be in a dark room with dark clothes.
Own mania. It generated $3 million within its first week of launch and accounted for roughly 10 to 13% of all traffic.
Yeah, well, it was kind of fun.
On Ethereum's network. And where was everyone's focus during that mania?
I bought my first Ether for $15, sir. When you can get it that cheap, you can have fun with it, not really lose anything.
Okay, that's $2,700 for this little guy.
Why use these CryptoKitties?
$450,000 for this ugly mug?
The same reason you started out with the cryptocurrency, to make money.
Guys, this is...
Haters gonna hate. I mean, I like CryptoKitties. I don't like Nifties. They are Nifties, technically. So there's very few Nifties I do like. But anyways.
Potential way to make some money.
This is, for the record, I'm not promoting Nifties whatsoever. But Bitcoin is not a scam. This guy making this documentary, he's a moron. And he has, with respect to knowledge about Bitcoin, he just is. And for anyone to believe him, shame on him for deceiving them.
Insane.
Most users are trying to breed their cats at the moment, not just because it's kind of cool, but also because they can be very expensive.
There are thousands of people playing on the CryptoKitties website.
Once everyone started rushing to join in on the hype, the economics of the game began to falter as the supply of CryptoKitties stretched far beyond the demand, eventually leading to a crash in the price of CryptoKitties and a fall in average users. Because as you continue to see time and time again,
I think I made money and I still have some left, but anyways.
Almost everyone was there to make money, but what remained of that saga was the idea of non-fungible assets.
It was just for fun.
A brand new package, a brand new pitch, a new route to find use cases for cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology.
Honestly, Nifties have an incredibly good use case utility. It's just, again, been perverted or corrupted in a non-sexual way, or corrupted by the scammers that just want to scam people out of all their money. I mean, otherwise, it could be better than, I mean, it's like proof of ownership or ticket to a movie or, deed or a title. It could be more secure, just saying.
This stuff was initially pitched to digital artists. The idea was that you would make artwork, then tokenize that artwork, which just means turning it into a token that exists on a blockchain like Ethereum. If you wanted to know
greed ruined all that,
who owned the artwork, all you had to do was just go and check the blockchain records and see which wallet was associated with the artwork. In theory, you could digitally verify the ownership of your art. Sounds exciting, you might think. I did too. Digital artist Michael Winkelmann, otherwise known as
gonna skip his middle name this time,
Beeple, began a challenge in 2007 where he would create one piece of artwork every single day and continue to do so throughout the years. It was known as his Everydays collection.
But to me, the bigger project is this long-term Everydays project, which is a project that I've been working on, every single day for over 12 years.
It was reportedly around October of 2020 when Beeple was put in touch with an anonymous NFT artist called Pac, and Pac informed Beeple.
Again, here goes that scandal. It's one stupid scandal, but whatever.
About the world of NFTs. Only a few months later, he would end up auctioning a piece of artwork that contained a collage of the first 5,000 images of the Everydays series, titled Everydays: The First 5,000 Days. $69.3 million was how much it sold for in the Ether cryptocurrency, one of the largest sales in digital art.
Why didn't you say it was sold for 69.3 or something like that, dude, since you're so big on explosively large dollar sums for some odd reason? Not really an odd reason. You're just trying to keep people watching this silly video. this completely uninformed garbage, that mess that you made and published. You had the nerve to publish this complete and utter garbage. Shame on you, James Janney.
Art history, the very sale that sent the search term NFT skyrocketing. So
Maybe
now the
worn
question
a
becomes,
turtleneck.
who decided to make that purchase?
So you purchased a collection of 5,000 pieces of digital art that anyone can easily see online for $69 million. Why did you do that?
Metakovan, or as they were later revealed to be, Vignesh Sundaresan, a crypto entrepreneur who had recently co-founded a crypto investment firm with his business.
Scandal, scandal, scandal. Nothing to do with Bitcoin. This just is so cringe.
Business partner called Metapurse. Only a few.
Yeah, newsflash, more than one person can invest in a piece of art. Oh no.
Months before this big $69 million purchase, Metakovan and his business partner had already bought another collection of NFTs from Beeple for over $2.2 million. They actually wrote a blog post about their purchase, alluding to the fact that this was only part of a much bigger project that they had in mind that will, quote, flip the art world status quo on its head. And what was that project that they were talking about? The B20 token coin. They were going to bundle their purchases of Beeple.
Another altcoin that failed or something. Who cares? It doesn't have anything to do with nothing to do with Bitcoin.
Beeple's NFTs collection and put it in a virtual museum where those who purchased the B20 token coin could access and view the artwork. Owning the B20 token was supposed to represent a type of fractional ownership in the virtual museum and the contents inside of it. Here's the thing. Metakovan and his business partner conveniently owned 59% of the total supply of B20 tokens. Beeple was also given 2% of that supply. Beeple and Metakovan already had a working relationship before the big Everyday's 5,000 sale. When that sale happened and the media frenzy ensued, the B20 token rose in value to $23 as more people began obviously looking into who Metakovan was. People have accused that sale of essentially being a giant marketing stunt to increase the value of the B20 token. Even in their calls together, you can hear Beeple express skepticism around the.
You know what? There's a few corrupt people that did a bad thing. I don't have any comment on that. I don't know that anybody knows enough about it to thoroughly comment on it. Yeah, I know there were some scandalous rumors and whatnot, but anyways.
The whole thing, only for Metakovan and the others.
That deserves 1 hour on that topic. 1 hour for itself alone, dude. You didn't do any justice on that if you're trying to expose that.
Just to kind of bring.
And I'm sure it's been exposed plenty of other times on here and elsewhere. I've read about it myself long ago.
Him around.
Other artists, I can almost guarantee, will not like this. Like, they will.
Why wouldn't they?
Not like you taking their work and like splitting it into a million pieces and reselling those pieces.
Most famous artists are dead. They're not going to care, and they're already doing that. They did that with a. I mean, Masterworks does it. You own pieces of art. There's guys that'll go buy a multi-million-dollar piece of art and turn it digital and then destroy the original, sadly. And then people own pieces of it. So, I mean, whatever. Evil does not speak for anyone but himself.
That I would be very surprised if other artists did not have a very strong dislike of that.
But what I find the most insane about this saga was that the B20 virtual museum that was supposed to flip the art world status quo was nothing impressive. The B20 token has fallen over 99% in value since its all-time high. Despite all of this, Metakovan's sale sent headlines skyrocketing. Suddenly, NFTs were being created out of internet memes or anything really that was culturally relevant to the internet. From the outside, all you had to know were that NFTs
COVID made everything weird, okay?
These were revolutionary and there was a lot of money involved. You didn't even have to know that they were intrinsically tied to the world of cryptocurrencies or blockchain. A successful repackaging. Once the sale of memes and other one-off NFT sales cooled down, it became more popular to start buying into NFT projects. These contained up to thousands of NFTs inside of them, usually following a certain theme or concept.
What are CryptoPunks?
So do museums. real life art museums.
These are the CryptoPunks. They're
Yeah,
just
they are
basically
25 by 25 pixels.
Yeah, they're icons of zombies and
There's aliens, zombies, and yeah, they all have different mohawks and glasses and beard types, and I mean,
what is Cool Cats, the coolest NFTs on the blockchain?
Should I get a Lazy Lions NFT? Been thinking about joining this amazing community.
Clone X. This project is previously known as Akira.
Sneaky Vampire Syndicate.
We've got pudgy penguins on the chopping block today.
They're selling us something called Meebits?
Just as it had been with Bitcoin and token coins, the name of the game was about hyping up a project so that you can sell it for a profit later. NFTs,
true,
though, were cooler than your average token coin, so they had art behind them. You could show them off by replacing your social media profile picture with an NFT you purchased.
Yeah, that was just weird.
More so than ever, hype and attention became an important part of growing the value of an NFT. Which brings us to the apes. One of the most significant projects created after Beeple's sale was the Bored Ape Yacht Club, otherwise shortened to just BAYC. Founded by the company Yuga Labs, the project featured 10,000 different pictures of apes with this distinct bored expression on their face. The Bored Ape Yacht Club project had managed to arrive into the NFT space at just the right time, about a month after Beeple's big sale. There were a few popular people inside of the NFT space already, one of which went by the name of Jimmy McNeils, otherwise known as Jimmy ETH on Twitter, who shortly after finding out about the project announces their purchase of hundreds of Bored Ape NFTs. Then another popular figure in the NFT space, Pranksy, who had around 50,000 followers at the time, tweets their own purchase of 250 Bored Apes, which later grows to 1,250. And all the time these guys are tweeting about their purchases to their followers, it starts to create this buzz inside of the crypto space.
You've probably seen all over Twitter this crazy thing with apes.
Just after 12 hours of its official launch, the BAYC collection sold out, giving Yuga Labs an estimated $2.8 million in revenue. Pranksy starts selling some of his apes to NBA players who start tweeting and changing their profile pictures to those apes. In August, the popular DJ Steve Aoki tweets his own $40,000 purchase of a Bored Ape to his million.
While we're discussing this hyping crap, if you could please like and subscribe, not so I can make money off this video, that's not my point or intention. It's just so that more people could see it. The algorithm will show it to more people if you do so. Thank you.
Of followers.
Hashtag ape, follow ape began trending immediately.
Famous digital artist Beeple tweeting about it and creating an artwork about it, which continued to drive up the price of Bored Apes.
You ape, me ape, friend.
Cringe.
One of the shadiest parts about everything that followed were the blurred lines between celebrities and influencers clearly manipulating a market to pump up the value of their NFTs and genuine posts simply just showing off their purchases. You had Justin Bieber in January of this year posting a picture of a Bored Ape number 3001 to his 251 million followers, a purchase that was reportedly worth $1.3 million. Everyone sort of assumes that Justin was the one that made the purchase himself, right? And he's just posting it on his Instagram. But then Twitter users started to look into the records and they find that Justin's supposed crypto wallet had received 900 Ether from another wallet address. And that wallet address was associated with an individual named Gianpiero D'Alessandro, or as many others may recognize him, Justin Bieber's business partner. And Gianpiero owned his own NFT collection called In-Betweeners, which Bieber had been promoting on social media already. In those posts, no disclaimer was made suggesting that Bieber had been paid to promote them.
I just got my first NFT. Are you did?
And that's not okay.
What was it? Through MoonPay.
In some of the announcements from celebrities about their NFT purchases.
But honestly, does anyone correlate, can anyone compare Justin Bieber to Albert Einstein? I tried to keep a straight face.
There was this constant reference to a company called MoonPay, thanking them for help with purchasing their NFTs.
I got an ape too.
MoonPay, I checked them out yesterday. They have a 2.6 rating on BitTrust.
Because I saw you on the show with Beeple and you said you got a MoonPay.
Turns out, MoonPay
I don't think I've ever used them.
Was a company that was launched in 2019, which according to their website had one singular aim: to increase cryptocurrency adoption. So that begs the question, What is the relationship between MoonPay and the supposed celebrities and influencers there helping buy NFTs?
Real talk. Not once, not twice, 3 times I've been offered a Bored Ape through MoonPay. And there's an NDA they try to send my agent and shit too. You know, they wanted you to not disclose that they had purchased the ape for it.
Isn't it a little shady that you have the CEO of MoonPay, a guy called Ivan Soto Wright, who is an active participant in the NFT market, who is clearly well connected to the celebrities using his company's service, who has access to insider information and likely knows when celebrities may purchase an NFT before they do it. And surprise, surprise, people started finding out that Wright on numerous occasions has purchased NFT projects right before celebrities end up purchasing them.
And that's completely false. Like I said, I've bought every single NFT that I've ever owned. And I've owned at least 100. I bought it with a credit card, Visa.
In my experience of looking into crypto communities and its culture and various projects, there is this game that is being played. Some are blatant about it and others less so, but the game is this. Everyone is playing a role in promoting their project, calling it revolutionary, saying that this isn't like the others, but ultimately, everyone knows that at some point, they're going to sell. And perhaps it is because of the greater full nature of the crypto ecosystem, where everyone is incentivized to keep putting money into the system and to keep pushing it while simultaneously dismissing criticism. On the surface, everything is supposed to be positive,
ridiculous assertions,
and optimistic. You have catchphrases and actions that are commonly used in cryptocurrency communities.
Like every single catchphrase you just used on your silly video here, sir.
Short for hold on for dear life, which refers to holding,
or hold spelled by a dyslexic person.
onto your crypto assets no matter what. Hodling is seen as a good thing.
Today we're going to be talking about the art of the hold.
WAGMI, short for we're all going to make it, which is used as both a greeting and an easy catchphrase to keep morale high.
We're all going to make it, and I
cringe. You can't all make it. That's just fact.
I say this with passion and confidence. If you leave the market, if you give up, you will lose. That is the ultimate failure.
We're still early is a sentiment often echoed in crypto communities, an encouraging message for those who are both new and old in the space, letting them know that they haven't missed out on the opportunity and further riches are on the horizon. Don't abandon hope.
Is it too late to get into crypto? No, never. It's never too late. It's actually too early. It's extremely early still.
Those who...
That's an incredibly stupid comment to say it's actually too early. That's the dumbest thing I've heard about Bitcoin in a long time. Good job quoting an idiot, citing him, playing him out of context, but he's still idiotic.
Hold on to their crypto assets, even when there is really good reason to sell, are called diamond hands.
Diamond hands is actually a requirement.
Keep diamond handing, okay?
A positive trait that is encouraged, whereas those who...
I think diamond hands versus paper hands is just plain stupid, even though if you hold a full Bitcoin for 14 years, you probably have diamond hands. But I still think the phrase is incredibly stupid, both those phrases.
Do sell are labeled paper hands, a negative trait which is actively discouraged.
The worst part about paper-handed investors is that it influences other people to grow paper on their hands.
Most crypto communities are encouraged to say good morning and good night to each other every day, shortened to just a GM and GN, kind of.
Yeah, so what? That's childish. It's what the childish people do. What do you freaking do?
Like a regular check-in and check-out with members. Negativity is usually handled
It's no real members, bro.
In the same way, since one group's negativity can actually devalue a project and affect everyone else's ability to make money.
I lost a bunch of money thanks to that dude they just showed. Taking his advice. So yeah, do your own research, people.
If there's some bad news about a particular cryptocurrency project or cryptocurrencies in general, it can be dismissed as FUD, abbreviation for fear, uncertainty, and doubt.
We have
this whole damn video is FUD. Your whole video, James Janney, it's entirely FUD.
someone that, again, is trying to spread FUD.
And I just couldn't sit idly by and let people FUD my...
Dude, look, he's practically mocking me right now. Unbelievable. I didn't even know that was going to appear here. That's not me, but he's basically mocking me right now for pointing out the truth about how incredibly stupid his video here is. I'm sorry about my stupid device over here going off. Sorry about that.
My investment and FUD the leader of my investment.
Or those who criticize are told,
Yeah, screw you, James Janney. Screw you.
You simply don't understand without any further elaboration. Or
you simply don't understand, and I have further elaborated. The fact that you're just making all these false allegations without further elaborating yourself makes you 100% a hypocrite.
They're told to have fun staying poor, which is a...
Yeah, have fun living off of your soon-to-be dwindling supply of subscribers, because if your subscribers have any brains in their head, they're only subscribed to you to mock you, to see what other crap you're spilling to the masses. Other than that, they need to unsubscribe from you, Mr. James Janney. Stat.
Not so subtle nod to people's true intentions.
Not so subtle nod. Give me a break.
Intentions within the space. Or
your intentions are blatantly obvious, bro, and they're not good. Or hell-bent on speaking the truth.
Criticism is actually spun into a good thing for the project. These are all very convenient actions to...
So convenient for you. Pure hypocrisy. Just
encourage when keeping someone engaged and hopeful in a crypto project.
Like what you're doing with your viewers by dragging this out and repeating crap over and over again, keeping them engaged.
Is financially beneficial to everyone.
It's financially beneficial to you because you get paid more by YouTube and they run more ads that way.
Everyone else.
I'm actually struck.
Who is this clown? There's nothing, there's like no initials after his name. I've got so many initials after my name, it's not even funny.
By how much the general public?
Oh, he must be a genius old fart. Whoever he is. Mr. Gerard, get in touch with me if you're not just some stupid schmuck.
Really hates it when someone gets into NFTs and they just have an absolute adverse reaction. I see.
Sounds like you have, Grandpa. Would you lose your life savings? You still working at the grocery store bagging groceries, Walmart?
See this across industry.
Because you made a foolish decision in cryptocurrency, now you're just angry and jaded? Sounds like it.
The NFT mania did something. I think it
did something. What a stupid comment.
It grew so big and so in your face from influencers and celebrities that it started making people mad.
So proud. I love being a part of this community and being a voice and sharing my platform. And
you mad, bro? And why are you running this cringy crap again? Oh, that's right. You're trying to draw this video out as long as possible. You're at the expense of your viewers' time. Shame on you.
Just getting the word out there.
What community?
Cringe.
What are you guys talking about? You don't fucking care about this. I hate that they try to put on...
Nice failure to edit, dude.
That they care about this.
Bored Ape Yacht Club NFTs, which I think are ugly, dumb, cringe.
Thank you guys for...
Yeah, well,
Allow me to scream about NFT cartoons. I hate this stuff. It's getting worse.
Check this out. I got a board bunny. And not only is it a board bunny, but it looks like me. Look at that.
Nothing makes people hate you faster than NFT shilling.
If you're young and naive, just like my brother, and want to get into NFTs, you should check out Board Bunny.
The new Board Bunny NFT
Where's this stupid crap?
project has now been classified as a scam.
Welcome David Dobrik to the long list of influencers promoting.
So what? There's plenty of scams and everything, especially Nifties. But you could go down to your local gold shop and pay them a couple grand, and they give you like gold-plated coins. You just never know it until it's time to cash them in. So.
Scams, further claiming the team has disappeared with $6 million.
It's great to be a part of this project. I love the designs inspired.
Yeah, CryptoZoo has been proven to be a scam by CoffeeZilla. Shout out to CoffeeZilla.
By Pokemon.
It's a Pokemon knockoff.
Hey, there
it's
he
just
is.
like stealing money from people.
You guys should subscribe to that dude right there, CoffeeZilla on YouTube. He's great.
Who were fans of Pokemon.
Y'all better not miss this.
They promised Pokemon partnerships, and it was all a lie, and it ended up raking in $6.3 million.
He speaks the truth, and it's not for the reasons that the impure reasons that James Jani's making this documentary.
For the last 6 months, I've been working on my own NFT project.
So the project is called CryptoZoo.
I believe is going to change the game.
CryptoZoo, Logan Paul's newest project, are basically a bunch of stock photos from Adobe that have been poorly photoshopped.
Non-fungible tokens, yes. I do know what they are, but I don't really like them at all, really. I'm not really into them. Nobody seems to like NFTs. We didn't find anybody who actually had anything positive to say about them.
Whenever a big celebrity or influencer would post something related to NFTs on their social media, you'd see a whole slew of people responding with, "Oh no, not you too." And this wasn't just limited to individuals either. Companies began getting a lot of flack for even talking about or
who cares? It's not anything to do with Bitcoin.
Dabbling into NFTs.
In 2021, people found out what cryptocurrency actually was and they hate it. It is all get-rich-quick schemes promoted using technology as the cover. All of it. That's
Who
what
is this guy
crypto is.
again? I have
NFT
no idea.
is the latest species.
I think in June there were 1,500
Species?
computer scientists and technologists read to
Darwin
Congress
now?
calling for more responsible regulation of crypto assets.
So
They said
ridiculous.
the catastrophes and externalities related to blockchain technologies and crypto asset investments are the inevitable outcomes of a technology that is not built for purpose and will remain forever unsuitable as a foundation for large-scale economic activity.
And so you
I don't know what the heck just got said there, but it sounds like somebody thinks they have a crystal ball.
start to wonder, like, okay, like what's gonna happen?
And this guy, James Jani, is pushing it as if it's fact.
And I know that it really shouldn't surprise me.
You need to mention who did this graphic, dude. You need to give them kudos in your video because you've used it so many freaking times. And it's still outdated, but whatever.
But a whole new packaging had been in the
Showing it a bunch of times doesn't make it any less outdated.
works, and a brand new word was taking the stage.
Our mission at MoonPay is to onboard the world to Web3.
I have to admit, it's a pretty convincing narrative. The first iteration of the internet, Web 1.0, was essentially the first version of the web, mostly consisting of
I doubt he knows anything about the initial web. He's probably not even alive at that time.
web pages and information. There wasn't much you could actually interact with. Then came along Web 2.0, which brought access
Why even say the .0, dude?
to many new features. It focused on user-generated content, social media, and more forms of participation. This version of the internet became dominated by large corporations. Web 2.0 is our current modern-day version of the internet, but now Web
Something I learned in my undergrad, actually. Like I said, I've got multiple master's and graduate degrees. But something I learned in undergrad was question your sources, and he's not citing any sources. And he's also throwing out numbers. Web 1.0. No one ever called it that. Just the web. Web 2.0. Web 3.0. Yeah, whatever. He's like doing .0 and all this like point and crap to try and increase his credibility. Don't freaking fall for it. It's a scam in and of itself, in my opinion.
Web 3.0 is coming. It kind of just referred to a bunch of different things, but the idea...
Notice he said it kind of just referred to a bunch of different things. If someone was trying to explain something to a 5-year-old or whatever, It's kind of a bunch of different things. Daddy, why is the sky blue? It's kind of a bunch of different things. Who's gonna buy that but a 5-year-old? He's treating his viewers like they're 5 years old, talking down to them, manipulating them, brainwashing them, adding stuff out of context, no proper sources. I mean, irrelevant garbage. All these theatrics, the music, the lighting, everything in this video is trash.
Was that a new version of the internet is here, where your online activity was going to be making use of
You can see
blockchains
why.
and tokens to some degree or another.
Hopefully now you can see why I'm making this video. I don't like making videos of myself, but I'm putting myself on here trying to get some credibility, just like he put himself on his and he's got no credibility. But I'm trying to do that at least. I'm doing that for you guys, trying to expose this crap.
So in theory, the now
In theory, another word that says, you know, probably not true.
centralized version of the internet owned by big tech would become owned now by its users. In its initial bubble, NFTs were seen as just digital art, right? Which is quite limiting. At the end of the day, NFTs are just data.
CryptoKitties was art, but if you got a male and a female, you put them together, it can make offspring. So he's wrong when he says the initial days of NFT were just digital art, because they had that utility as well. But whatever. Excuse me. Plus random traits would spawn the offspring, just like a normal kitten, litter, whatever.
On a public database that can act as a receipt of ownership over whatever that data contained. You know, whether it was a coin or it was a web link to a digital piece of art. The idea was that if NFTs could prove ownership over something, then you could put anything on the blockchain. Real estate.
Well, yeah, and I already said that earlier.
Titles, medical records, university degrees, legal records. In the case of Web.
University degrees is actually a brilliant idea. I'm sure you didn't come up with it. The university could own its own blockchain, and it could have all of its diplomas on its blockchain, and anyone could easily check that blockchain to ensure that their applicant, who they can check the passport or driver's license of, is actually holding a degree from that university. So that's actually a really great idea. And again, I'm sure you did not come up with it, but yeah, that's one use of NFTs that could occur.
3, you'd have social media sites and video games all incorporating blockchain and NFTs into their business model. It didn't really matter what it was or how it would work exactly. It just became this game of insert
Sure it does.
anything here but on the blockchain. And just like that, you've made it revolutionary.
You've just recreated the entire mortgage infrastructure that already exists today.
On the blockchain.
But that exactly.
The blockchain in real estate is going to be pretty mainstream 5 to 10 years from now.
It would honestly be harder to forge a title or whatever they call it, like steal people's houses through title, screwing with the title, if it was all on the blockchain.
Solar grids, electric grids, self-driving car grids that will essentially be machine run and controlled and administered by blockchain.
Best use case for blockchain is healthcare.
Did he just find every video ever made having to do with blockchain and just throw it here, just willy-nilly?
What can and can't be turned into an NFT?
Ultimately, what we're talking about is the tokenization of everything.
Never mind if blockchains or tokenization.
And that was out of context, and I don't know his credentials, so whatever.
Actually fixed the issues that it was claiming to solve in these industries. It was literally.
It did for some, bro. You don't know that because it's not true.
The definition of a solution in search of a problem.
And then I'm lost as to
whatever. That can be said about a lot of things.
to like why the on the blockchain part matters, besides basically what everyone means is they mean, oh, I want a public record of the transaction. Okay.
I mean, people suggested that you could replace legal contracts with smart contracts, which are programs that are built on the blockchain, and that's usually accompanied with the phrase code is law. This is a smart contract, and this is a legal contract. These two things aren't the same, right? You can't have law be enacted by computer code because law inherently requires third parties to assess evidence, intentions, and a bunch of other variables that you just can't outsource that to computer code, especially when that code is on the blockchain and it cannot be altered. Nicholas Weaver, a researcher and lecturer at UC Berkeley's Department for Computer Science, has this interview with Current Affairs, and he brought up what he called Weaver's iron law of blockchain. When somebody says you can solve X with blockchain, they don't understand X, and you can just ignore them. So you start to wonder, right? Who
doesn't understand blockchain?
Who is behind all of this money that's coming and pouring into the crypto and Web3 space? Where is it coming from and why? Either I'm not seeing the revolutionary potential that all of this has, or this genuinely is a massive mania and bubble that is being fueled by greed and delusion.
The so-called next version of the internet that's attracting big money from venture capital.
Venture firm.
I hate to break it to you, but a lot of stuff in life is fueled by greed and whatever.
Called Andreessen Horowitz. Have you guys heard of it?
I kept seeing this venture capital name pop up.
We've been in the space for a long time.
Kind of a big deal, running the crypto fund with more than $7 billion in capital to deploy.
Andreessen Horowitz, otherwise known as A16Z. They're one of the largest venture capital firms. They have a crypto fund with around 7.6 billion to be invested in crypto and Web3 startups, and have been investing in crypto companies dating back to 2013. If you wanted to meet the smart money behind all of this, then these guys were the best place to start. They say that crypto is far more than just a financial innovation. It's social.
In your opinion, bro, that doesn't make it accurate.
Cultural, technological. In the month of October of 2021, A16Z led a funding of $150 million towards the company that was behind Axie Infinity. A16Z general partner.
Hindsight's 2020, bro. You don't need to go here, but I guess we're going here. Viewers stuck.
Ariana Simpson claimed that this was an example of where Web3 is going to revolutionize the internet. In her own words, literally, Axie embodies a new generation of games. What this means for the future of games and really the web as we know it is as big as your imagination will allow. Where do I begin? Axie Infinity was what you would call a play-to-earn game. It was this new genre of games appearing in the Web3 space, which, as the name suggests, allows players to make money when they play the game. In the case of Axie Infinity, what you had was this game where people would breed, collect, and fight with these creatures called Axies. When battling inside the game, it was possible to earn this token called SL.
Okay, so it's a separate token, and it's a game, what? It's like this, or whatever. There we go.
Which could actually be traded for real money. So what started happening? Well, people started playing the game, but instead of focusing on the fun of the game, the focus became on
how to earn more SLP.
Oh no.
How do we profit from Axie Infinity? The most expensive Axie ever sold was worth about $800,000.
I've invested $13,232.
To even play Axie Infinity, you had to purchase 3 Axie NFTs, right? And as the value of Axie NFTs started to rise, certain players wouldn't be able to afford the buy-in price. So guess what started happening? Those who had the money to buy 3 Axies began to lend their creatures out to players who couldn't afford it. And they were called scholars.
How to set up your own scholarship program as a manager in Axie Infinity. I'll be giving out.
This is such a tangent right now. He's just gone off on a complete and utter tangent.
A scholarship every 2 weeks, so that's another 6 scholarships is my goal.
Scholars would then play the game using their rented Axies, earn SLP, and then give a cut of their earnings to their managers.
My team of 12 scholars was roughly earning me $1,700 a month.
$600 from my scholars.
With all of my current scholarships working, I'm earning about $6,000 a month.
Axie Infinity, a play-to-earn crypto gaming juggernaut that has led people in countries like Philippines.
Juggernaut. Okay, I don't even know if she knows what that means. Anyways, I just wanted to mention I had a little box, like literally that big, little cube, that one of the times I was in grad school, I just run it night and day, and I was making like $50 a month profit. Well, that was when Bitcoin was worth like for $250 to $450 each. So that should tell you something.
And Venezuela to make a living.
These are players from the Philippines who are making a living playing Axie Infinity.
And you can't tell me that you know what's being processed because they still haven't figured it out. It could be attempting to crack a code or something. It's not like it's just wasted and it's for no purpose. But whatever. You have no idea what you're talking about, bro.
Most of the scholars who couldn't afford the buy-in price, they were from developing countries, right? People who likely saw Axie Infinity not as a
okay, so they helped themselves out a little bit. Great. but they're also taking a risk.
A game of leisure, but as a means of producing income.
I am here to apply scholarship on Axie Infinity.
I want this scholarship because I want to earn more.
I can play 6 to 12 hours a day.
It's honestly really inappropriate to use these. I don't think they consented to you using their videos. It's extremely inappropriate for you to do this, bro.
Just for playing Axie.
I'm gonna mute it. Honestly, dude, what were you thinking when you included all this? That's completely inappropriate. Oh, I know what you were thinking. Keep your viewer watching longer at someone else's expense so you can earn money off of them.
Are playing in order to make money.
People are
hypocrite.
Entire villages playing our games.
But the only reason that they're making money is because others are buying in to also make money.
In the case of things like Axie Infinity, there actually are a bunch of innocent victims, right? I mean, when you run a pyramid scheme, unfortunately, you get a bunch of poor people in the Philippines who are poor when they start.
It's kind of rude to suggest that all the poor people are in the Philippines. Come on, bro.
And they're just hoping to make some money, but then what happens is they actually lose money.
The value of
prove it. I mean, maybe they did, but prove it.
SLP, which is the token that people use to actually make money in the game, has fallen 99% since its peak, and its user base has been in decline since. Times Magazine came out with this article, and it was interviewing this guy called Samason Arias, a line cook from the Philippines who was facing financial stress after his mother had a stroke and electricity and grocery bills were stacking up. Arias jumped into the Axie Infinity game and then exited 14 months later. He described it as boring and stressful. Arias, along with other players of the game, told Times Magazine that Axie Infinity reinforced predatory systems and gave them false hope.
It's already dystopian as hell, but then to say to people that by doing this we are creating opportunity for people in the developing world, that's not just dark, that's fucking evil.
Again, I find myself coming back to the same question. What is it that VC firms are seeing the potential in this crypto space? Why do they keep pouring money into it?
It's what they do, and they pour money into everything, not just crypto. So you need to attack everything if you're going to do this. Make this a point here. Oh, VCs have touched it, so it must be evil. Well, they've touched a lot more than just crypto, bro.
Overwhelming majority of tokens are securities.
Yeah.
But they're being dumped onto retail investors. This is being done explicitly by venture firms, I won't mention any names, who are buying into companies early, getting into tokens, and then those tokens are being listed on exchanges. The public is buying into them in order to get a financial gain. They have no interest in using those tokens for any utility.
VC firms have a commonly
he's not wrong.
used strategy. They invest in a bunch of startups. Most of those startups will fail, a few will succeed, and with the ones that succeed, a VC needs to decide on an exit strategy, an event that allows them to liquidate their position in a company and essentially make money.
Oh no. That should be everyone's plan.
This is a process that can take years. So there's another idea that is proposed by skeptics, that the world of crypto offers an incentive for VC firms to invest in a crypto company, receive a percentage of their tokens, and then sell those tokens to retail traders when it becomes publicly available, all achievable within months, highly profitable, and fairly unregulated.
With crypto tokens, they can cash out in a few months.
This
and
guy,
the way that this actually works is they encourage their fundees to basically issue unregistered securities.
Andreessen Horowitz invested in a bunch of startups.
Yeah, they're unregistered securities, all right. That's what the SEC enforces, though.
That all issued tokens, that all got dumped on retail, including Andreessen.
This high-pitched old guy again? Oh my gosh.
Horowitz dumping a lot of them on retail. This is blatant securities fraud. But they didn't commit.
Probably so.
The securities fraud. It was just the companies they invested in.
On the surface.
If that's true, that's incredibly interesting. I'm going to have to look further into that allegation.
Web3 has this narrative which is...
I'd love a source on that.
All about taking money out of the hands of the rich and the big tech and...
Incredible source, by the way.
giving it back to the users. But A16Z is the exact same company that has funded some of the biggest Web 2 companies like Facebook and Twitter. I'm sure that there are many inside of these firms that, you know, really believe in the potential of Web 3 or crypto or blockchains or whatever buzz.
He's probably thinking, man, I got to get through this script. I got to go pee and eat some pizza or something. This is really dragging.
Word you want to use, but it becomes increasingly harder to.
Again, him alleging he's calling out buzzwords when all he's doing is using buzzwords.
See that as anything other than hyper optimism, or another word for it, delusion. There's this interview with Mark Andreessen, right, who's the co-founder of Andreessen Horowitz, and he's on this podcast episode with an economist and blogger called Tyler Cohen, and he proposes the idea for podcasts to make use of Web3.
A well-known podcast host, how does that person get paid in a better way through Web 3.0? Make that more concrete
Everything's
for
backwards.
us.
Now, Mark Andreessen is someone that, by all accounts, should have a good answer to this question, but instead.
I mean, they can pick their business model. I mean, they can pick their business model. They can decide a subscription-based business model. You know, microtransactions. They can pick. You know, they can pick whatever model they want. You know, they can also have indirect. You know, there's this whole new rise of this kind of the non-fungible token.
You know, when pressed.
Is that how you get your commentary? Is by finding the most liked comments and discussing them? I mean, come on, bro. You could do better, or can't you?
To give an actual use case, what you get is an answer with all the right buzzwords and phrases, but little actual substance.
I compare it to the internet, like in all seriousness.
Just like your so-called documentary here.
I compare it to the internet, which is the internet basically.
It's 93 or so.
Yeah, it's like 93, 94. This is the only time I've ever said this is like the internet is this.
A16Z uses the same narrative that a lot of crypto enthusiasts will also use. You may hate it, you may think it's a fad, but crypto and Web 3.0 are just like the internet. Even I made this comparison when I looked at the entire space in a more favorable light. Now though?
Dude, you couldn't look at anything in a more favorable light. With that, you're just surrounded by darkness, bro. You're such a hater. Continue missing out.
I just think it's another form of smoke and mirrors.
It is the biggest technology.
And I don't care what you think. And for the goofballs that do, that's what this video is for.
Technology shift since the internet. The blockchain, the consumer blockchain's the biggest new
Again, we're gonna cite Gary V, the grifter. Oh my gosh.
thing since the internet itself.
Bitcoin began in 2009. Arguably, blockchain technology and the foundations for it began even earlier than that. It's been 13 years since this
crappy graphics, shame on you.
Story began with Bitcoin.
Again,
13
with that
years
crap.
to find a solid
Shame
use
on
case,
you.
or at least one that justifies
Just because you haven't looked doesn't mean they're not there.
the hype and is already better than an existing system.
Crypto and Web3 is really great at one thing, which is trading and speculation.
And there is absolutely no democratization of
I have no idea who that was, or if they're even credible.
anything. The centralization of exchanges, centralization of miners, centralization of crypto wealth is the most concentrated amount of centralized wealth in the history of humanity. Worse than disease, worse than Wall Street. It's all bullshit.
13 years after
Who's that guy?
1983, which is considered to be the birth of the internet.
And is he credible?
We were already seeing very clear-cut use cases. Even in those early days, people could get weather reports, they could check the news, they could send emails, and
Shout
many
out
other
to the
uses that
bulletin
we
board
still
systems.
use to
I
this
used to
day.
run
I
one.
sent a message to my doctor asking for a repeat prescription, and he
That's
said
really great.
he's left the prescription for me in the chemist.
By even making the comparison to one of the biggest revolutions in information and communication is already assuming that cryptocurrencies are revolutionary and they're bound to find mass adoption at some point, when
They're pretty mass adopted.
that is the very future we're putting into question. One recent post that I remember on the
I would like a break like the one he clearly just took.
Bitcoin subreddit was titled, "Does anyone else feel like Bitcoin is their literal last-ditch effort to become wealthy in their lifetime?" I don't imagine that this is the only person in the crypto space that is thinking that way. The
Obviously not, bro.
crypto machine has continued running. New package.
It's funny that you mentioned your imagination, though. That's all this entire documentary has been on. Based
Packaging
on.
of ideas, more money funneled into the system, and a constant search to find a use case
That graphic again?
that justifies the hype and the claims of revolutionary technology. If the critics are right, then what we're looking at is a ticking time bomb. If the critics are right, then this is
F the critics, sir. Good day.
a scheme that will leave tons of regular individuals left
He highlights it's all a giant scam, completely out of context by probably an uncredible author.
holding their bags, wondering how this managed to happen. It already has. A scheme.
Can't you buy a stock and the company goes bankrupt and you lose everything? Couldn't that possibly happen? I'm sure it's happened more than it has with crypto. Well, at least not the scam ICOs and scam NFTs. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about legitimate stuff like Bitcoin.
That managed to infiltrate the realm of media and entertainment, that managed to make use of social media's ability to spread this fear of missing out, that capitalized on greed and a get-rich-quick mentality. If the critics are right, then I suppose there's only one question that remains. At what point does the ticking time bomb go off?
You wish it was a ticking time bomb, bro. That was a crappy documentary. And for the crappy music, for the record, that's been said about Bitcoin countless times. So anyhow, that was my review of his silly video, and I will put a link to an exchange that I trust down below. Pin it to the top in the comments. Thanks for watching.